Madea's Family Reunion is a 2006 American comedy drama film and an adaptation of the stage production of the same name written by Tyler Perry. The film is a sequel to Diary of a Mad Black Woman. It was written, directed by, and starring Perry, with the rest of the cast consisting of Blair Underwood, Lynn Whitfield, Boris Kodjoe, Henry Simmons, Lisa Arundel, Maya Angelou, Rochelle Ides, Jennifer Lewis, Tangi Miller, Keek Palmer, and Cicely Tyson. The film tells the story of Madea preparing for an upcoming family reunion while dealing with the dramas before and during it. It was released on February 24, 2006, nearly 1 year following its predecessor, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. The independent film was produced by Lionsgate. Madea's Family Reunion grossed $63.4 million worldwide. Plot: Lisa Bro is engaged to Carlos Armstrong, an abusive investment banker. While Lisa wants to get out of the engagement, her mother Victoria urges her to go through with the wedding. Lisa's older sister Vanessa has 2 children by 2 different men, neither of whom are involved in their children's lives, which Victoria regularly degrades Vanessa for. Vanessa is eventually wooed by bus driver Frankie Henderson, who is a single father and loves painting. Vanessa likes Frankie, but is emotionally distant and has a difficult time trusting him. After Madea violates the terms of the house arrest she was previously subjected to get Joe's medicine, with her lawyer nephew Brian corroborating on, Judge Maban Ephraim orders her to take in a foster child named Nikki in order to avoid jail. At first, Madea and Nikki clash due to the latter's disrespect, stemming from her poor life, including an absent father, a mother in jail, and various uncaring foster homes. However, Madea urges her to overcome her past with hard work, and strive to be better than those who wronged her. Nikki, with consistent support from Madea, reforms her behavior. Lisa eventually leaves Carlos with the intention of calling off the wedding, temporarily moving in with her great-aunt Madea and great-uncle Joe. Eager to get married, Carlos dispatches Victoria to bring Lisa back to him. Victoria confronts Carlos about the abuse. It is then revealed that Victoria, with Carlos's assistance, has stolen from Lisa's trust fund over the years, leaving virtually no money, and is now encouraging Lisa to marry Carlos in order to keep up her livelihood. Carlos makes it clear to Victoria that he will not bail her out unless the wedding goes forward. Victoria goes to Madea's house to fetch Lisa, only to end up in an argument with Vanessa, who has become aware of Carlos's abuse and wants to protect her sister. During the confrontation, Vanessa reveals that Victoria allowed her second husband, Lisa's father, to rape Vanessa in order to keep him in the marriage. The sexual abuse then occurred on a regular basis and left Vanessa closed off emotionally and unable to trust the men in her life, including Frankie. Victoria rationalizes her actions, telling her daughters that they faced destitution if Lisa's father had left, and that after previous hardships, she was tired of struggling. She also retorts that her own mother, a prostitute and drug addict, regularly traded her for $10 and a fix. Victoria then demands that a horrified Lisa begin taking care of her financially. She then leaves and later lies to Lisa, telling her that Carlos has agreed to counseling. At the family reunion held at the home of 96-year-old Aunt Ruby, Vanessa and Victoria get into another confrontation, which eventually turns into a physical fight after Victoria insults Vanessa's relationship with Frankie. The fight is broken up when Aunt Ruby, Madea's daughter-in-law Myrtle, and Ruby's daughter Aunt May gather the family to an old slave shack where their ancestors grew up. Ruby expresses disappointment at how the family has turned out. Myrtle persuades them to act lovingly towards each other and themselves. Lisa returns to Carlos and resumes her wedding plans. On the day of her wedding, Lisa flees from Carlos and retreats to Madea's house. Madea tells her that it is time for her to fight back. When Carlos arrives at Madea's house, Madea subtly suggests to Lisa to use the pot of hot grits on the stove to defend herself, as Madea previously taught her. When Madea leaves the house, Carlos slaps Lisa. In retaliation, she throws the hot grits in Carlos' face, scalding him, then beats him with a cast iron frying pan as Madea listens outside and laughs. At the church, Lisa announces to the family and other guests that the wedding is off and exposes Carlos' abuse. Madea lambasts a sour Victoria and tells her to find her own life instead of continuing to live through Lisa. Frankie then asks Vanessa to marry him and she accepts. They are married at the church instead. At the reception, Victoria accepts Vanessa's marriage, revealing possible reconciliation. Cast: Tyler Perry as Mabel Madea Simmons, the tough, ex-con, no-nonsense matriarch of the family. Joe Simmons, the brother of Madea who is a wisecracker. Brian Simmons, a lawyer who is the son of Joe and the nephew of Madea. Blair Underwood as Carlos Armstrong, an abusive and controlling investment banker who is Lisa's fiancé. Lynn Whitfield as Victoria Bro, a gold-digging woman and a niece of Madea. Boris Kotjo as Frankie Henderson, a bus driver who is also a painter. Henry Simmons as Isaac, a nephew of Madea who is antagonized by Joe when he was repairing Madea's lawnmower. Lisa Arundel as Vanessa Bro Henderson, the grandniece of Madea, oldest daughter of Victoria, and Lisa's older sister who falls for Frankie after 2 bad relationships. Maya Angelou as Aunt May, a cousin of Madea. Rochelle Ides as Lisa Bro, Vanessa's younger sister, Victoria's youngest daughter, and Madea's second grandniece who is to be engaged to Carlos. Jennifer Lewis as Mila Janae Laurie, a wedding planner who was hired by Victoria. Keek Palmer as Nikki Grady, a girl who Madea takes in. Tangi Miller as Donna, the love interest of Isaac and sister of Brian. Cicely Tyson as Aunt Myrtle, Madea's daughter-in-law. China Anderson as Nima, the daughter of Vanessa. Akil Jackson as Jonathan, the son of Vanessa and the younger half-brother of Nima. Alonzo Millsap as Trey, the son of Frankie. Georgia Allen as Aunt Ruby, a 96-year-old aunt of Madea who is the mother of May and Sarah. Cassie Davis as Aunt Sarah, a cousin of Madea and the sister of May. Leon Lamar as Grover, a cousin of Madea and Joe. John Lawhorn as Uncle Pete, a cousin of Madea and Joe. Afima Amalemi as Isaac Sr., the father of Isaac and cousin of Madea and Joe. Maba and Ephraim as herself. Deanna Don as Tyrqua. Enoch King as Hakeem. Jennifer Sears as an unnamed female at the family reunion. Trey Rogers as an unnamed young man at the family reunion. Elizabeth Amalemi as Aunt Clara, a relative of Madea. Nicholas Ortiz as himself. Johnny Gill as a wedding singer. David Weavers as wedding trumpeter. China Ann McLean as youth, uncredited. Soundtrack. The soundtrack was released by Motown Records on February 21, 2006. Track listing. No. Title performer, S, length. 1 Find Myself in You Brian McKnight 414. 2 We're Gonna Make It LL Cool J and Mary Mary 454. 3 Keep Your Head Up Chaka Khan 434. 4 Tonight Chem 355. 5 Everyday, Family Reunion, Chaka Khan, Carl Thomas, Yolanda Adams, and Gerald Levert 448. 6 Love and Happiness Al Green 502. 7 You For Me, Wedding Song, Johnny Gill 537. 8 Family Reunion The OJ's 655. 9 I'll Be Will Downing 410. 10 Wounds in the Way Rachel Farrell 421. Release and reception. Box office. Madea's Family Reunion was budgeted at $6 million and opened at number 1 in its opening weekend, 2/24-26, with $30,036,61 and eventually grossed $63,257,940 in North America with an additional $50,939 internationally, tying $63,308,879 worldwide after 9 weeks in theaters. 1. Small independent filmmaker Tyler Perry has garnered one of the highest wide-release openings to date in 2006, in both gross, $30 million, and screen average, $13,687. 3. The number one movie is Madea's Family Reunion, a small comedy/melodrama which grossed an astounding $30.3 million from 2,194 venues. It had a super hot venue average of $13,787. 4. Playing at 2,194 locations across North America, the film averaged a remarkable estimated $13,788 per screen, demonstrating the enormous breadth and depth of Perry's audience. The debut weekend of Madea's Family Reunion outperformed the opening weekend of Lionsgate's first Tyler Perry film, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, by nearly 40%. 5. To illustrate the point, Lionsgate's exit polls showed 52% of the audience were black women over the age of 35. 6. Critical response. On Rotten Tomatoes it has an approval rating of 26%, based on 58 reviews. The site's consensus reads Tyler Perry's Madea's Family Reunion is sincere in its positive intentions, but leaves something to be desired as a film. 7. On Metacritic, it has a score of 45% based on reviews from 18 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 8 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film a grade. Mabel Earlene Madea Simmons is a character created and portrayed by Tyler Perry. She is presented as a tough, street-smart elderly African-American woman. 1. Madea is based on Perry's mother and his aunt. In Perry's own words, Madea is exactly the PG version of my mother and my aunt, and I loved having an opportunity to pay homage to them. She would beat the hell out of you but make sure the ambulance got there in time to make sure they could set your arm back because the love was there inside all of it. 2. The Madea films and plays and stage plays features several genres and themes. The character also appeared in sketches on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. 3-4. Fictional biography. Early years. Madea was born in Greensburg, Louisiana on June 26, 1935, and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, and it was confirmed in Boutou. A Madea Halloween, when she went to a police station and saw her name on a wanted poster. In the title sequence to Madea Goes to Jail, her suspended driver's license indicates her birth date as April 26, 1962. Her age varies in different movies and plays. Madea was 68 in the first play, I Can Do Bad All By Myself, as well as Madea's Class Reunion. In A Madea Homecoming, set in 2022, it is said she is 95 years old. She is described as being brought up in poverty, growing up in a shotgun house with her parents and siblings. Madea has stated that although her family didn't have much, they had love. 6. When she was in her early teens, her family moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where they lived on the west side. She attended Booker T. Washington High School and was a cheerleader. In I Can Do Bad All By Myself, it is revealed how she resided in Cleveland, Alabama, and later returned to Atlanta. According to A Madea Christmas, the play, Madea's mother, Big Mabel Murphy, was a hooker during Madea's childhood and was not at all religious. Madea grew up with little knowledge of religion, explaining why she has a tendency to misquote the Bible. Madea makes frequent reference to herself once being a hooker and a stripper. Her maiden name is not stated, but it is presumably either Baker or Murphy, the last names of her father and mother, respectively. It is not revealed where and when she met her first husband, Johnny. Madea and Johnny had their first child, Michelle, as young teens, possibly 15 or 16. When Madea was 18, she got pregnant with her other daughter, Cora, through a one-night stand. Sometime later, Madea and Johnny had a son, William. All of her children are said to be married and had children. Madea and Johnny raised 2 of their grandchildren, Maylee and Vianney, after their daughter's death from drug addiction. Criminal background. In Madea Goes to Jail, it is explained of how Madea's criminal record began at age 9 with a charge of theft. She was charged with her first felony at this age, and her crimes began progressing to illegal gambling at age 18, which later evolved into check fraud, identity theft, insurance fraud, related to her 9 deceased husbands, assault, attempted murder, road rage, usually when Madea is in vehicle, and vehicle theft and destruction. In Diary of a Mad Black Woman, Madea and her granddaughter Helen McCarter were both arrested and charged with criminal trespassing, reckless endangerment, criminal possession of a handgun, assault with a deadly weapon, driving on a suspended license, expired registration, reckless driving, and a broken tail light. This caused Judge Madea Ephraim to place Madea on house arrest while Helen was placed on a bail of $5,000. In Madea's family reunion, Madea was brought before Judge Ephraim once again after she removed her ankle monitor in order to purchase her brother Joe's medication, in effect violating her house arrest. After rigorous efforts, Brian was finally able to persuade Madea to accept Judge Ephraim's ruling to become the foster mother of Nikki Grady. In Meet the Browns, Madea was arrested for causing a high-speed chase following a routine traffic stop, resisting arrest, and assaulting a police officer while Joe fled the area claiming that Madea kidnapped him. In Madea Goes to Jail, Madea was brought before Judge Ephraim because of the car chase in the last film. Because Brian and Assistant District Attorney Linda Davis brought up the fact that the arresting police officers failed to read Madea her Miranda rights, Judge Ephraim scolded the police officers that were present for that negligence. Because of this, Judge Ephraim lets Madea go on a technicality while suspending her already suspended driver's license and having her undergo anger management therapy that was overseen by Phil McGraw. Later on, she was arrested once again for using forklift to carry a woman's Pontiac Solstice and subsequently improperly dropping it in the parking lot of the big Kmart after the woman stole Madea's parking spot. She was sentenced to 5 to 10 years in prison by Judge Greg Mathis. This is later overturned due to the illegal tampering of Linda Davis, and she is part of the Georgia 7 that are released. In Madea's Big Happy Family, Madea smashes her car into the fast food restaurant Smack's when manager Sabrina would not give her the ordered, even using excuses related to her Cadillac's technical problems in order to persuade the manager to give her food while waiting. Madea nearly runs over the customers, and throws products to Sabrina and employees. No police action was brought up. In the animated film Madea's Tough Love, Madea is arrested for excessive damage to public property, which she unintentionally committed while chasing after 2 unruly skateboarders Netta and Dang Dang, 2 bench warrants, 25 unpaid parking tickets, and an unpaid speeding ticket. Judge Michaels sentences her to do community service work at the Moms Mavli Youth Center. In addition, Judge Michaels had a special ankle monitor placed on Madea to make sure she does her community service and enlists 2 police officers named Fred and Frank to keep an eye on her. After Madea is filmed spanking Netta, Judge Michaels reassigns Madea to fulfill the rest of her sentence on house arrest, much to the annoyance of Joe. Madea was released from the sentence when the truth about mayoral candidate Betsy Holliday's secret illegal activities were exposed, proving that Madea was right about her. Media and entertainment featuring Madea. Madea has appeared in several plays, which have been filmed for repeated viewing, fully produced movies, a couple of television programs, guest appearances, 1 book, and 1 animated film. The character made her first appearance in the 1999 play I Can Do Bad All By Myself, later appearing in numerous other plays by Perry, then appearing in films based on those plays. Madea franchise film Joe's College Trip, which had Madea's brother, Joe in the central focus, was released on Netflix on February 13, 2026. Blair Underwood is an American actor. He made his debut in the 1985 musical film Crush Groove, and from 1987 to 1994 starred as attorney Jonathan Rollins in the NBC legal drama series L.A. Law. Underwood has appeared in a number of films during his career, including Just Cause, 1995, Set It Off, 1996, Deep Impact, 1998, Rules of Engagement, 2000, Something New, 2006, Madea's Family Reunion, 2006, Juanita, 2019, and Longlegs, 2024. On television, he played a leading role in the 2000 medical drama City of Angels, and also had regular roles in High Incident, 1996-97, Lax, 2004, 05, Dirty Sexy Money, 2007, 09, In Treatment, 2008, The Event, 2010-11, Ironside, 2013, and Quantico, 2016-18. Underwood has received 2 Golden Globe Award nominations, 1 Tony Award nomination, 5 NAACP Image Awards, 1 Daytime Emmy Award, and 1 Grammy Award. Early life and education. Blair Irwin Underwood I was born in Tacoma, Washington 23, the son of Marilyn Ann Scales, an interior decorator, and Frank Eugene Underwood Sr., a colonel in the United States Army. 456 Frank Sr. was an Army Ranger and paratrooper who was wounded in the Vietnam War. 7 Underwood lived on military bases and army posts in the United States and Stuttgart, Germany, throughout his childhood due to his father's military career. 8. He attended Petersburg High School in Petersburg, Virginia. 9. He went on to attend the Carnegie Mellon School of Drama in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and is an honorary member of the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Career. Underwood at the 41st Emmy Awards, September 1989. After his film debut, Crush Groove, Underwood's 1985 appearance on The Cosby Show landed him a short stint for 3 months on the ABC soap opera One Life to Live as Bobby Blue. 10. He later co-starred in the short-lived CBS crime drama series Downtown from 1986 to 1987, and guest starred on Scarecrow and Mrs. King and 21 Jump Street. In 1987, Underwood, at the age of 23, was cast as attorney Jonathan Rollins in the NBC legal drama series LA Law. 11. He received Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, Series, Miniseries, or Television Film in 1991. The series ended in 1994. In 1990, he played James Chaney in the NBC television film Murder in Mississippi. In 1993, he co-starred in the Western film Posse starring Mario Van Peebles. After LA Law, he starred in a number of movies. In 1995, he appeared in the legal thriller Just Cause, and the following year played Jada Pinkett's love interest in the heist film Set It Off. He also had a supporting role as a geneticist in the science fiction film Gattaca, 1997, and in the disaster film Deep Impact, 1998. In 1996, he was featured in the July issue of erotic magazine Playgirl. 12. In 1996, Underwood returned to series television with ABC police drama series, High Incident. He co-starred opposite Cicely Tyson in the 1998 miniseries Mama Flora's Family. In 2000, he portrayed a Marine captain in the film Rules of Engagement 13 and played the lead role in the short-lived CBS medical drama series City of Angels. 13. Underwood was voted one of People magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People in 2000, and one of TV Guide magazine's Most Influential Faces of the 90s. 14. In 2003, he guest starred in 4 episodes 8 on the HBO series Sex and the City playing Cynthia Nixon's love interest. In 2004, he played the role of Roger D'Souza opposite Heather Locklear in NBC short-lived drama Lax. 15. In 2006, he appeared in the romantic comedy film Something New, and in Tyler Perry's second film, Madea's Family Reunion. He had a recurring role as the sexy grade school teacher in the CBS sitcom The New Adventures of Old Christine opposite Julia Louis-Dreyfus from 2006 to 2008. In 2007, he guest starred in an episode of the NBC series Law and Order, Special Victims Unit. 16. In 2007, Underwood portrayed Jesus Christ in Inspired by The Bible Experience, an 89-hour, celebrity-voiced, fully dramatized audio Bible based on today's New International Version. Also in 2007, Underwood co-authored the novel Casa Negra, a Tennyson Hardwick novel with husband and wife team Stephen Barnes and Tananor Ibdu. Underwood at the premiere for Earth in April 2009. In 2008, Underwood starred in the first season of the HBO drama series In Treatment, for which he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Series, Miniseries, or Television Film at the 2009 Golden Globes. 17 From 2007 to 2009, he was regular cast member in the ABC primetime soap opera, Dirty Sexy Money. In 2010 to 2011, Underwood portrayed United States President Elias Martinez in the NBC drama series The Event. 1819 In 2010, Underwood portrayed the role of Saint Mark in the Truth and Life dramatized audio New Testament Bible, a 22-hour, celebrity-voiced, fully dramatized audio New Testament, based on the RSVCE translation. In 2012, he played the lead role of Stanley in the Broadway revival of A Streetcar Named Desire. 20. In 2013, Underwood played the role of Robert Ironside in the remake of the successful 1960s television series, Ironside, made famous by the late Raymond Burr. 21. The show was cancelled after 3 episodes. 22-23 The following year, he appeared in The Trip to Bountiful opposite Cicely Tyson. From 2015 to 2016, he had a recurring role in the ABC series Agents of SHIELD. In 2016, Underwood was cast in the ABC thriller series Quantico for the series' regular role of CIA Deputy Director, Owen Hall. 24. The series was cancelled after 3 seasons in 2018. In 2019, Underwood played attorney Bobby Burns in the Netflix miniseries When They See Us. 25. The following year, he co-starred opposite Octavia Spencer in the Netflix miniseries Self-Made, inspired by the life of Madam C.J. Walker. 26. Underwood has been a frequent guest narrator at Disney's Candlelight Processional, narrating the event in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2018, and 2021. 27. He was also in the drama film Juanita, 2019, and the horror film Longlegs, 2024. In January 2020, Underwood appeared on stage as Captain Richard Davenport in the Roundabout Theatre Company's Broadway revival of Charles Fuller's Pulitzer Prize-winning drama A Soldier's Play. 28. Other activities. Underwood is a part of several charitable organizations. In 1989 he was a co-founder of Artists for a New South Africa, ANSA, along with Alfre Woodard, Danny Glover, and other actors. 29. He won the 1993 Humanitarian Award for his work with the Los Angeles chapter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. In 2003, along with Ashley Judd, he served as the spokesperson for Youth AIDS. In addition, he is involved with the AIDS Healthcare Foundation's Blair Underwood Clinic in Washington, D.C. 30. Underwood appeared in a 2004 public service announcement for the Fulfillment Fund. 31. He is a trustee for the Roby Theatre Company in Los Angeles, a non-profit theater group founded by Danny Glover, focusing on plays about the Black experience. He supported President Barack Obama's candidacy and spoke at campaign rallies for him. Underwood got to know former President Obama while researching his L.A. law role at Harvard Law School, while the would-be President Obama was president of the Harvard Law Review. 32. In 2025, Underwood became part owner of the Oakland Ballers in the Pioneer League, an independent baseball league. 33. Personal life. Underwood married Desiree Da Costa, but separated in 2021 after 27 years of marriage. 34. On June 24, 2023 he married his longtime friend, Josie Hart. Lynn Whitfield, née Smith, born February 15, 1953, is an American actress. She began her acting career in television and theater before progressing to supporting roles in film. She won a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series or Movie and received a Golden Globe Award nomination for her breakout performance as Josephine Baker in the HBO biographical film The Josephine Baker Story, 1991. In the 1990s, Whitfield played leading roles in a number of made-for-television movies and had several starring roles in theatrical films, including A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, 1996, Gone Fishin', 1997, Eve's Bayou, 1997, Stepmom, 1998, Head of State, 2003, Madea's Family Reunion, 2006, and The Women, 2008. Whitfield also starred in a number of movies in the 2000s and 2010s. From 2016 to 2020, she starred as Lady Mae Greenleaf in the Oprah Winfrey Network dramatic series Greenleaf, for which she won critical acclaim and garnered 2 NAACP Image Awards and a Gracie Award. She later appeared in films Nappily Ever After, 2018, Vacation Friends, 2021, and The Retirement Plan, 2023. Whitfield has won a total of 7 NAACP Image Awards. Early life. Whitfield was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the daughter of Jean, née Butler, a former president of the Louisiana Housing Finance Agency, and Dr. Valerian Smith, who was also a composer who wrote the musicals, The Supper, and The Wake. Her mother is a founding member of the Baton Rouge chapter of the Lynx Incorporated and is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Whitfield is an honorary member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. 2. Career. 1970s. Following graduation, she first garnered attention on the stage by performing with the Black Repertory Company in Washington, D.C. She married playwright-director-actor Van Tyle Whitfield, one of the company's co-founders and a pioneer of black theater, in 1974. She eventually moved to New York and appeared off-Broadway in such shows as The Great Mac Daddy and Showdown Time before earning international acclaim touring the United States, Australia, and London's West End in the 1977 production of the landmark play For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide / When the Rainbow Is Enough alongside Alfre Woodard. 3. 1980s. Whitfield made her professional screen debut in 1981 as Jill Thomas in the critically acclaimed NBC serial drama Hill Street Blues. In 1983, she appeared in the comedy film Dr. Detroit, 1983, playing the supporting role of Thelma Cleland. She later co-starred in the films The Slugger's Wife, Silverado, and Jaws, The Revenge. She also starred in the television films The George McKenna Story opposite Denzel Washington and Johnny May Gibson, FBI as the title character, and in the ABC miniseries The Women of Brewster Place alongside Oprah Winfrey and Cicely Tyson. 3. She also was a regular cast member in the short-lived 1988 ABC female-driven medical drama series Heartbeat alongside Kate Mulgrew, Laura Johnson, and Gail Strickland. 1990s. Whitfield. In 1996, Whitfield achieved wide recognition in the title role of The Josephine Baker Story, 1991, portraying the American who became a Folies Bergère star, a French resistance fighter during World War II, and a civil rights activist. The HBO biopic required her to age from 18 to 68. 4. After a highly publicized casting call, Whitfield was chosen over hundreds of women. 5. In the movie, she appeared nude on screen. 6. In his review, Ken Tucker of Entertainment Weekly said, "Whitfield is exceptionally good as the legendary singer-dancer who came to prominence in the 20s for her throaty singing and her notorious banana dance, a wiggly little number executed while wearing nothing except a skirt of real bananas." 7. The New York Times added that Whitfield powerfully captures her baker's passionate determination. 8. Whitfield won a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Miniseries or a Movie for her role, and said this gave her the greatest sense of accomplishment and realization of my vision. It absolutely called upon everything I thought I could do at that point. 9. She also received a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Miniseries or Television Film nomination and won the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Actress in a Television Movie, Miniseries or Dramatic Special. After her breakthrough as Josephine Baker, Whitfield had the recurring role in the ABC legal drama Equal Justice, appearing opposite Joe Morton. She continued her career, starring in the made-for-television movies A Triumph of the Heart, The Ricky Bell Story, 1991, Stompin' at the Savoy, 1992, with Vanessa L. Williams, Jasmine Guy, and Vanessa Bell Calloway, Taking the Heat, 1993, with Tony Goldwyn, State of Emergency, 1994, with Joe Mantegna, Sophie and the Moon Hanger, 1996, The Wedding, 1998, as Halle Berry's mother, The Color of Courage, 1998, alongside Linda Hamilton, and Deep in My Heart, 1999, opposite Anne Bancroft. She also had a regular role on the short-lived NBC detective series The Cosby Mysteries from 1994 to 1995 and later guest starred on Martin and Touched by an Angel. In 1996, Whitfield was cast as the female lead opposite Martin Lawrence in the dark romantic comedy film A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. 10-11 at the time of filming, Lawrence was 12 years younger than Whitfield, who was then 42. The film grossed over $35 million against a budget of $8 million. 12 in 1997, she co-starred opposite Danny Glover and Rosanna Arquette in the comedy film Gone Fishin', appeared in the supporting role in the Canadian drama The Planet of Junior Brown, and played the mother of Journey Smollett's title character in the critically acclaimed independent drama Eve's Bayou. 13 in 1998, Whitfield had supporting role of an oncologist in the comedy drama film Stepmom. 14-15. 2000s present. Whitfield on the set of Curveball, in 2014. In the 2000s, Whitfield had many supporting roles on television and in films. She co-starred in the Chris Rock comedy film Head of State, 2003, and Tyler Perry's Madea's Family Reunion, 2006. Whitfield also appeared in The Women, 2008, The Rebound, 2009, and Mama, I Want to Sing, 2011, and had many roles in low-profile B-movies. She also starred as Dorothea Garibaldi, the mother of Galleria, played by Raven Simone, in the Disney Channel films The Cheetah Girls and The Cheetah Girls 2. In 2004, she played Barbara Becknell in the made-for-television movie Redemption, the Stan Tookie Williams story, receiving NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Actress in a Television Movie, Miniseries or Dramatic Special. On television, Whitfield had recurring roles on Boston Public and Without a Trace in the 2000s. From 2014 to 2015, she appeared in the ABC legal drama How to Get Away with Murder as villainous Mary Walker. 16. She also had a recurring role on Hit the Floor 17 and appeared as the abusive mother of April, Rochelle Ides, on Mistresses. 18. In 2015, Whitfield was cast as the main villain in Greenleaf, the Oprah Winfrey Network original scripted drama series about the unscrupulous world of the Greenleaf family and their sprawling Memphis megachurch. Whitfield played the leading role of Lady Mae Greenleaf, the imperious minister's wife and the power and money-hungry matriarch of the family. 1920. The series also starred Keith David, Merle Dandridge, Kim Hawthorne, and Oprah Winfrey. Whitfield received positive reviews from critics for her performance. 21-22. One critic stated, Whitfield has the imperious aura of a grand soap opera diva in the tradition of Joan Collins. 23. She won the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series in 2019 and 2020, as well as the Gracie Award for Outstanding Female Actor in a Supporting Role in a Drama Series in 2017. 24. The series ended in 2020 after 5 seasons and 60 episodes. Whitfield later was cast in a leading role in Greenleaf's planned spin-off. 25. In 2018, Whitfield co-starred opposite Sanaa Lathan in the romantic comedy film Napoli Ever After, which was released on Netflix. 26. She guest starred as Shawnette Renee Wilson's mother, a famous Nigerian surgeon, on the Fox medical drama The Resident in 2019. In 2021, she co-starred in the comedy film Vacation Friends. 27. In 2023, she appeared opposite Nicolas Cage and Ron Perlman in the action comedy film, The Retirement Plan. 28. Also in 2023, she was cast as Alicia, an intimidating, fearless and powerful matriarch, in the Showtime crime drama series, The Chi during its 6th season. 29. She was promoted to series regular for the 7th season. 30. In 2024, Whitfield starred in the road drama film, Albany Road, directed and written by Christine Swanson. 31. In 2025, Whitfield voiced an older Noni in the 2nd episode of the miniseries Eyes of Wakanda. 32. Personal life. Whitfield speaking at a rally for John Ossoff's Senate campaign in 2020. Whitfield has been married twice. Her first husband, from 1974 to 1978, was Van Tyle Whitfield. 33. From 1990 to 1992, she was married to director Brian Gibson, with whom she had a daughter, Grace. Maya Angelou/Endlo/Njlo12 born Marguerite Annie Johnson, April 4, 1928 to May 28, 2014, was an American memoirist, essayist, poet, and civil rights activist. She published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, and is credited with a list of plays, movies, and television shows spanning over 50 years. She received dozens of awards and more than 50 honorary degrees. 3. Angelou's series of 7 autobiographies focus on her childhood and early adult experiences. The first, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, 1969, tells of her life up to the age of 17 and brought her international recognition and acclaim. She became a poet and writer after a string of odd jobs during her young adulthood. In 1982, Angelou was named the first Reynolds Professor of American Studies at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Angelou was active in the civil rights movement and worked with Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X beginning in the 1990s. She made approximately 80 appearances a year on the lecture circuit, something she continued into her 80s. In 1993, Angelou recited her poem On the Pulse of Morning, 1993, at the first inauguration of Bill Clinton, making her the first poet to make an inaugural recitation since Robert Frost at the inauguration of John F. Kennedy in 1961. With the publication of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Angelou publicly discussed aspects of her personal life. She was respected as a spokesperson for African Americans and women, and her works have been considered a defense of African American culture. Her works are widely used in schools and universities worldwide, although attempts have been made to ban her books from some U.S. libraries. Angelou's most celebrated works have been labeled as autobiographical fiction, but many critics consider them to be autobiographies. She made a deliberate attempt to challenge the common structure of the autobiography by critiquing, changing, and expanding the genre. Her books center on themes that include racism, identity, family, and travel. Early life. Maya Angelou was born Marguerite Annie Johnson on April 4, 1928, in St. Louis, Missouri, the younger of 2 children of Bailey Johnson, a doorman and Navy dietitian, and Vivian, née Baxter, Johnson, a nurse and card dealer. 5. Note 1. For the first 3 years of her life, her family lived in her maternal grandparents' home. Angelou's older brother, Bailey Jr., nicknamed Marguerite Maya, derived from Maya or Maya's sister. 6. When Angelou was 3 and her brother 4, their parents' calamitous marriage 7 ended, and their father sent them to Stamps, Arkansas, alone by train, to live with their paternal grandmother, Annie Henderson. In an astonishing exception 8 to the harsh economics of African Americans of the time, Angelou's grandmother prospered financially during the Great Depression and World War II, because the general store she owned sold basic and needed commodities and because she made wise and honest investments. 5 No 2. 4 years later, when Angelou was 7 and her brother 8, the children's father came to Stamps without warning 10 and returned them to their mother's care in St. Louis. At the age of 8, while living with her mother, Angelou was sexually abused and raped by her mother's boyfriend, a man named Freeman. She told her brother, who told the rest of their family. Freeman was found guilty but was jailed for only 1 day. 4 days after his release, he was murdered, probably by Angelou's uncles. 11 Angelou became mute for almost 5 years. 12 believing she was to blame for his death, as she stated, "I thought, my voice killed him, I killed that man, because I told his name. And then I thought I would never speak again, because my voice would kill anyone." 13. According to Marcia Ann Gillespie and her colleagues, who wrote a biography about Angelou, it was during this period of silence when Angelou developed her extraordinary memory, her love for books and literature, and her ability to listen and observe the world around her. 14. To know her life story is to simultaneously wonder what on earth you have been doing with your own life and feel glad that you didn't have to go through half the things she has. The Guardian writer Gary Young, 2009-15. Shortly after Freeman's murder, when Angelou was 8 and her brother 9, Angelou and her brother were sent back to their grandmother. 16. She attended the Lafayette County Training School, in Stamps, a Rosenwald school. 17. Angelou credits a teacher and friend of her family, Mrs. Bertha Flowers, with helping her speak again, challenging her by saying, "You do not love poetry, not until you speak it." 18. Flowers introduced her to Charles Dickens, William Shakespeare, Edgar Allan Poe, Georgia Douglas Johnson, and James Weldon Johnson, authors who would affect Angelou's life and career, as well as black female artists such as Frances Harper, Ann Spencer, and Jessie Fawcett. 19. 2021. When Angelou was 14 and her brother 15, she and her brother moved in once again with their mother, who had since moved to Oakland, California. During World War II, Angelou attended the California Labor School. At the age of 16, she became the first black female streetcar conductor in San Francisco. 22, 23, 24, 25. She wanted the job badly, admiring the uniforms of the operators. 24, 25. Describing the women in uniform as having their little money-changing belts and with bibs on their caps and well-fitted uniforms. 26. So much so that her mother referred to it as her dream job. 25. Her mother encouraged her to pursue the position, but warned her that she would need to arrive early and work harder than others. 25. In 2014, Angelou received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials as part of a session Build Women Who Move the Nation. 24, 25. 3 weeks after completing school, at the age of 17, she gave birth to her son, Clyde, who later changed his name to Guy Johnson. 27, 28. Career. Adulthood and early career, 1951 to 1961. In 1951, Angelou married Tosh Angelos, a Greek electrician, former sailor, and aspiring musician, despite the condemnation of interracial relationships at the time and the disapproval of her mother. 2930. Note 3. She took modern dance classes during this time and met dancers and choreographers Alvin Ailey and Ruth Beckford. Ailey and Angelou formed a dance team, calling themselves Al and Rita, and performed modern dance at fraternal black organizations throughout San Francisco but never became successful. 32. Angelou, her new husband, and her son moved to New York City so she could study African dance with Trinidadian dancer Pearl Primus, but they returned to San Francisco a year later. 33. Publicity photo for Calypso Heatwave, 1957. After Angelou's marriage ended in 1954, she danced professionally in clubs around San Francisco, including the nightclub The Purple Onion, where she sang and danced to calypso music. 34. Up to that point, she went by the name of Marguerite Johnson, or Rita, but at the strong suggestion of her managers and supporters at The Purple Onion, she changed her professional name to Maya Angelou, her nickname and former married surname. It was a distinctive name 35 that set her apart and captured the feel of her calypso dance performances. During 1954 and 1955, Angelou toured Europe with a production of the opera Porgy and Bess. She began her practice of learning the language of every country she visited, and in a few years she gained proficiency in several languages. 36 in 1957, riding on the popularity of calypso, Angelou recorded her first album, Miss Calypso, which was reissued as a CD in 1996. 32, 37, 38 she appeared in an off-Broadway revue that inspired the 1957 film Calypso Heatwave, in which Angelou sang and performed her own compositions. 37 Note 4 Note 5. Angelou met novelist John Oliver Killens in 1959 and, at his urging, moved to New York to concentrate on her writing career. She joined the Harlem Writers Guild, where she met several major African American authors, including John Henrik Clarke, Rosa Guy, Paul Marshall, and Julian Mayfield, and was published for the first time. 40 in 1960, after meeting civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. and hearing him speak, she and Killens organized the legendary 41 Cabaret for Freedom to benefit the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, and she was named SCLC's Northern Coordinator. According to scholar Lyman B. Hagan, her contributions to civil rights as a fundraiser and SCLC organizer were successful and eminently effective. 42 Angelou also began her pro-Castro and anti-apartheid activism during this time, joining the Fair Play for Cuba Committee. 43-44 she had joined the crowd cheering for Fidel Castro when he first entered the Hotel Teresa in Harlem, New York, during the United Nations 15th General Assembly on September 19, 1960. 45. Africa to Caged Bird, 1961-1969. In 1961, Angelou performed in Jean Genet's play The Blacks, playing the part of the Queen, 46 along with Abbey Lincoln, Roscoe Lee Brown, James Earl Jones, Louis Gossett, Godfrey Cambridge, and Cicely Tyson. 47 Also in 1961, she met South African freedom fighter Vasumza Make. They never officially married. 48 She and her son Guy moved with Make to Cairo, where Angelou worked as an associate editor at the weekly English-language newspaper The Arab Observer. 49-50 In 1962, her relationship with Make ended, and she and Guy moved to Accra, Ghana, so he could attend college, but he was seriously injured in an automobile accident. Note 6 Angelou remained in Accra for his recovery and ended up staying there until 1965. She became an administrator at the University of Ghana and was active in the African American expatriate community. 52 She was a feature editor for the African Review. 53 A freelance writer for the Ghanaian Times, wrote and broadcast for Radio Ghana, and worked and performed for Ghana's National Theatre. She performed in a revival of the Blacks in Geneva and Berlin. 54. Portrait from the first edition of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, 1969. In Accra, she became close friends with Malcolm X during his visit in the early 1960s. Note 7 Angelou returned to the U.S. in 1965 to help him build a new civil rights organization, the Organization of Afro-American Unity. He was assassinated shortly afterward. Devastated and adrift, she joined her brother in Hawaii, where she resumed her singing career. She moved back to Los Angeles to focus on her writing career. Working as a market researcher in Watts, Angelou witnessed the riots in the summer of 1965. She acted in and wrote plays and returned to New York in 1967. She met her lifelong friend Rosa Guy and renewed her friendship with James Baldwin, whom she had met in Paris in the 1950s and called my brother, during this time. 56 Her friend Jerry Purcell provided Angelou with a stipend to support her writing. 57. In 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. asked Angelou to organize a march. She agreed, but postponed again. 41 And in what Gillespie calls a macabre twist of fate, 58 He was assassinated on her 40th birthday, April 4th. Note 8 Devastated again, she was encouraged out of her depression by her friend James Baldwin. As Gillespie states, if 1968 was a year of great pain, loss, and sadness, it was also the year when America first witnessed the breadth and depth of Maya Angelou's spirit and creative genius. 58 Despite having almost no experience, she wrote, produced, and narrated Blacks, Blues, Black, 60 a 10-part series of documentaries about the connection between blues music and Black Americans' African heritage, and what Angelou called the Africanism still current in the U.S. 61. For National Educational Television, the precursor of PBS. Also in 1968, inspired at a dinner party she attended with Baldwin, cartoonist Jules Pfeiffer, and his wife Judy, and challenged by Random House editor Robert Loomis, she wrote her first autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, published in 1969. This brought her international recognition and acclaim. 62. Later career. Released in 1972, Angelou's Georgia, Georgia, produced by a Swedish film company and filmed in Sweden, was the first produced screenplay by a black woman. 63 She also wrote the film's soundtrack, despite having very little additional input in the filming of the movie. 64 Note 9 Angelou married Paul Dufour, a Welsh carpenter and ex-husband of writer Germaine Greer, in San Francisco in 1973. Note 10 Over the next 10 years, as Gillespie has stated, she Angelou had accomplished more than many artists hope to achieve in a lifetime. 66. Angelou worked as a composer, writing for singer Roberta Flack. Note 11 and composing movie scores. She wrote articles, short stories, TV scripts, documentaries, autobiographies, and poetry. She produced plays and was named a visiting professor at several colleges and universities. She was a reluctant actor, 68, and was nominated for a Tony Award in 1973 for her role in Jerome Kilty's play Look Away. 69 As a theater director, in 1988 she undertook a revival of Errol John's play Moon on a Rainbow Shawl at the Almeida Theatre in London. 71. Portrait from the first edition of And Still I Rise, 1978. In 1977, Angelou appeared in a supporting role in the television miniseries Roots. She was given a multitude of awards during this period, including more than 30 honorary degrees from colleges and universities from all over the world. 69 In the late 1970s, Angelou met Oprah Winfrey when Winfrey was a TV anchor in Baltimore, Maryland. Angelou would later become Winfrey's close friend and mentor. 72 Note 12 In 1981, Angelou and Dufour divorced. She returned to the southern United States in 1981 because she felt she had to come to terms with her past there and, despite having no bachelor's degree, accepted the lifetime Reynolds Professorship of American Studies at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where she was one of a few full-time African American professors. 74-75 From that point on, she considered herself a teacher who writes. 76 Angelou taught a variety of subjects that reflected her interests, including philosophy, ethics, theology, science, theater, and writing. 77 The Winston-Salem Journal reported that even though she made many friends on campus, she never quite lived down all of the criticism from people who thought she was more of a celebrity than an intellect and an overpaid figurehead. 75 The last course she taught at Wake Forest was in 2011, but she was planning to teach another course in late 2014. Her final speaking engagement at the university was in late 2013. 78 Beginning in the 1990s, Angelou actively participated in the lecture circuit. 79 In a customized tour bus, something she continued into her 80s. 80-81 She also taught at the University of California, the University of Kansas, and the University of Ghana and was recognized as a Rockefeller Foundation Scholar and a Yale University Fellow. 82. In 1993, Angelou recited her poem On the Pulse of Morning at the presidential inauguration of Bill Clinton, becoming the first poet to make an inaugural recitation since Robert Frost at John F. Kennedy's inauguration in 1961. 79. Her recitation resulted in more fame and recognition for her previous works, and broadened her appeal across racial, economic, and educational boundaries. 83. The recording of the poem won a Grammy Award. 84. In June 1995, she delivered what Richard Long called her second public poem, 85, entitled A Brave and Startling Truth, which commemorated the 50th anniversary of the United Nations. Angelou speaking at a rally for Barack Obama, 2008. Angelou achieved her goal of directing a feature film in 1996, Down in the Delta, which featured actors such as Alfre Woodard and Wesley Snipes. 86. Also in 1996, she collaborated with R&B artists Ashford and Simpson on 7 of the 11 tracks of their album Been Found. The album was responsible for 3 of Angelou's only Billboard chart appearances. 87. In 2000, she created a successful collection of products for Hallmark, including greeting cards and decorative household items. 88. 89. She responded to critics who charged her with being too commercial by stating that the enterprise was perfectly in keeping with her role as the people's poet. 90. More than 30 years after Angelou began writing her life story, she completed her 6th autobiography, A Song Flung Up to Heaven, in 2002. 91. Angelou campaigned for the Democratic Party in the 2008 presidential primaries, giving her public support to Hillary Clinton. 59. In the run-up to the January Democratic primary in South Carolina, the Clinton campaign ran ads featuring Angelou's endorsement. 92. The ads were part of the campaign's efforts to rally support in the black community. 93. But Barack Obama won the South Carolina primary, finishing 29 points ahead of Clinton and taking 80% of the black vote. 94. When Clinton's campaign ended, Angelou put her support behind Obama. 59. Who went on to win the presidential election and become the first African American president of the United States. After Obama's inauguration, she stated, "We are growing up beyond the idiocies of racism and sexism." 95. Angelou and Hillary Clinton at an event in North Carolina in 2008. In late 2010, Angelou donated her personal papers and career memorabilia to the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture in Harlem. 96. They consisted of more than 340 boxes of documents that featured her handwritten notes on yellow legal pads for I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, a 1982 telegram from Coretta Scott King, fan mail, and personal and professional correspondence from colleagues such as her editor Robert Loomis. 97. In 2011, Angelou served as a consultant for the Martin Luther King, Jr. Memorial in Washington, D.C. She spoke out in opposition to a paraphrase of a quotation by King that appeared on the memorial, saying, "The quote makes Dr. Martin Luther King look like an arrogant twit, 98, and demanded that it be changed." Eventually, the paraphrase was removed. 99. In 2013, at the age of 85, Angelou published the 7th volume of autobiography in her series, entitled Mom and Me and Mom, which focuses on her relationship with her mother. 100. Personal life. I make writing as much a part of my life as I do eating or listening to music. Maya Angelou, 1999. 101. I also wear a hat or a very tightly pulled head tie when I write. I suppose I hope by doing that I will keep my brains from seeping out of my scalp and running in great gray blobs down my neck, into my ears, and over my face. Maya Angelou, 1984. 102. Nothing so frightens me as writing, but nothing so satisfies me. It's like a swimmer in the English Channel, you face the stingrays and waves and cold and grease, and finally you reach the other shore, and you put your foot on the ground. Maya Angelou, 1989. 103. Evidence suggests that Angelou was partially descended from the Mende people of West Africa through her maternal line. 104. Note 13. In 2008, a DNA test revealed that 45% of her genetic makeup was from Central African peoples from Congo-Angola region and 55% came from West Africans. 106. A 2008 PBS documentary found that Angelou's maternal great-grandmother, Mary Lee, who had been emancipated after the Civil War, became pregnant by her white former owner, John Sabin. Sabin forced Lee to sign a false statement accusing another man of being the father of her child. After Sabin was indicted for forcing Lee to commit perjury, and despite the discovery that Sabin was the father, a jury found him not guilty. Lee was sent to the Clinton County Poorhouse in Missouri with her daughter, Marguerite Baxter, who became Angelou's grandmother. Angelou described Lee as that poor little black girl, physically and mentally bruised. 107. The details of Angelou's life described in her 7 autobiographies and in numerous interviews, speeches, and articles tended to be inconsistent. Critic Mary Jane Lupton has explained that when Angelou spoke about her life, she did so eloquently, but informally, and with no time chart in front of her. 108. For example, she was married at least twice, but never clarified the number of times she had been married, for fear of sounding frivolous. 80. According to her autobiographies and to Gillespie, she married Tosh Angelos in 1951, 109, and Paul Dufaux in 1973 or 1974, 110, and began her relationship with Bassem Zemek in 1961, but never formally married him. 48. Angelou held many jobs, including some in the sex trade, working as a prostitute and madam for lesbians, and describes so in her second autobiography, Gathered Together in My Name. In a 1995 interview, Angelou said, "I wrote about my experiences because I thought too many people tell young folks, I never did anything wrong. Ooh, moi. Never I. I have no skeletons in my closet. In fact, I have no closet." They lie like that, and then young people find themselves in situations and they think, damn, I must be a pretty bad guy. My mom or dad never did anything wrong. They can't forgive themselves and go on with their lives. 111. Angelou had one son, Guy, whose birth she described in her first autobiography, one grandson, 2 great-grandchildren, 112, and, according to Gillespie, a large group of friends and extended family. Note 14. Angelou's mother Vivian Baxter died in 1991 and her brother Bailey Johnson Jr. died in 2000 after a series of strokes. Both were important figures in her life and her books. 113. Note 15. In 1981, the mother of her grandson disappeared with him. Finding him took 4 years. 114. Note 16. Angelou did not earn a university degree, but according to Gillespie it was Angelou's preference to be called Dr. Angelou by people outside of her family and close friends. She owned 2 homes in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and a lordly brownstone 15 in Harlem, which was purchased in 2004, 116, and was full of her growing library, 117 of books she collected throughout her life, artwork collected over the span of many decades, and well-stocked kitchens. The Guardian writer Gary Young reported that in Angelou's Harlem home were several African wall hangings and her collection of paintings, including ones of several jazz trumpeters, a watercolor of Rosa Parks, and a Faith Ringgold work entitled Maya's Quilt of Life. 15. According to Gillespie, she hosted several celebrations per year at her main residence in Winston-Salem. Her skill in the kitchen is the stuff of legend, from haute cuisine to down-home comfort food. 81. The Winston-Salem Journal stated, securing an invitation to one of Angelou's Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas tree decorating parties or birthday parties was among the most coveted invitations in town. 75. The New York Times, describing Angelou's residence history in New York City, stated that she regularly hosted elaborate New Year's Day parties. 116. She combined her cooking and writing skills in her 2004 book Hallelujah. The Welcome Table, which featured 73 recipes, many of which she learned from her grandmother and mother, accompanied by 28 vignettes. 118. She followed up in 2010 with her second cookbook, Great Food, All Day Long, Cook Splendidly, Eat Smart, which focused on weight loss and portion control. 119. Beginning with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Angelou used the same writing ritual 21 for many years. She would wake early in the morning and check into a hotel room, where the staff was instructed to remove any pictures from the walls. She would write on legal pads while lying on the bed, with only a bottle of sherry, a deck of cards to play solitaire, Roget's Thesaurus, and the Bible, and would leave by the early afternoon. She would average 10 to 12 pages of written material a day, which she edited down to 3 or 4 pages in the evening. 120. Note 17. 122. She went through this process to enchant herself, and as she said in a 1989 interview with the British Broadcasting Corporation, relieve the agony, the anguish, the sturmuendi drang. 123. She placed herself back in the time she wrote about, even traumatic experiences such as her rape in Caged Bird, to tell the human truth. 123. About her life. She was quoted as saying, "The way I deal with any pain is to admit it, let it come." 124. Angelou stated that she played cards to get to that place of enchantment and to access her memories more effectively. She said, "It may take an hour to get into it, but once I'm in it, it's so delicious." 123. She did not find the process cathartic, rather, she found relief in telling the truth. 123. In 2009, the gossip website TMZ erroneously reported that Angelou had been hospitalized in Los Angeles when she was alive and well in St. Louis, which resulted in rumors of her death and, according to Angelou, concern among her friends and family worldwide. 15. Death. Angelou died on the morning of May 28, 2014, at age 86. 125. Although Angelou had been in poor health and had cancelled recent scheduled appearances, she was working on another book, an autobiography about her experiences with national and world leaders. 75. 90. During her memorial service at Wake Forest University, her son Guy Johnson stated that despite being in constant pain due to her dancing career and respiratory failure, she wrote 4 books during the last 10 years of her life. He said, "She left this mortal plane with no loss of acuity and no loss in comprehension." 126. Tributes to Angelou and condolences were paid by artists, entertainers, and world leaders, including President Obama, whose sister was named after Angelou, and Bill Clinton. 90. 127. Harold Augenbrum, from the National Book Foundation, said that Angelou's legacy is one that all writers and readers across the world can admire and aspire to. 128. The week after Angelou's death, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings rose to number 1 on Amazon.com's bestseller list. 90. On May 29, 2014, Mount Zion Baptist Church in Winston-Salem, of which Angelou was a member for 30 years, held a public memorial service to honor her. 129. On June 7, a private memorial service was held at Waite Chapel on the campus of Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem. The memorial was shown live on local stations in the Winston-Salem/Triad area and streamed live on the university website with speeches from her son, Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama, and Bill Clinton. 130. 131. 132. 133. On June 15, a memorial was held at Glide Memorial Church in San Francisco, where Angelou was a member for many years. Rev. Cecil Williams, Mayor Ed Lee, and former Mayor Willie Brown spoke. 134. Works. Main article, list of Maya Angelou works. Angelou wrote a total of 7 autobiographies. According to scholar Mary Jane Lupton, Angelou's third autobiography Singin' and Swingin' and Gettin' Merry Like Christmas marked the first time a well-known African-American autobiographer had written a third volume about her life. 135. Her books stretch over time and place, from Arkansas to Africa and back to the U.S., and take place from the beginnings of World War II to the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. 136. In her fifth autobiography, All God's Children Need Traveling Shoes, 1986, Angelou tells about her return to Ghana searching for the past of her tribe. 137 She published her 7th autobiography Mom and Me and Mom in 2013, at the age of 85. 138 Critics have tended to give Caged Bird the highest praise. Angelou wrote 5 collections of essays, which writer Hilton ALS called her wisdom books and homilies strung together with autobiographical texts. 41 Angelou used the same editor throughout her writing career, Robert Loomis, an executive editor at Random House. He retired in 2011 139 and has been called one of publishing's Hall of Fame editors. 140. Angelou said regarding Loomis, "We have a relationship that's kind of famous among publishers." 141. All my work, my life, everything I do is about survival, not just bare, awful, plodding survival, but survival with grace and faith. While one may encounter many defeats, one must not be defeated. Maya Angelou 142. Angelou's long and extensive career also included poetry, plays, screenplays for television and film, directing, acting, and public speaking. She was a prolific writer of poetry. Her volume Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water for I Die, 1971, was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, and she was chosen by U.S. President Bill Clinton to recite her poem On the Pulse of Morning during his inauguration in 1993. 79 143. Angelou's successful acting career included roles in numerous plays, films, and television programs, among them her appearance in the television miniseries Roots in 1977. Her screenplay, Georgia, Georgia, 1972, was the first original script by a black woman to be produced, and she was the first African American woman to direct a major motion picture, Down in the Delta, in 1998. 86. Chronology of autobiographies. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, 1969 up to 1944, age 17. Gather Together in My Name, 1974-1944 to 48. Singin' and Swingin' and Gettin' Merry Like Christmas, 1976-1949 to 55. The Heart of a Woman, 1981-1957 to 62. All God's Children Need Traveling Shoes, 1986-1962 to 65. A Song Flung Up to Heaven, 2002 1965 to 68. Mom and Me and Mom, 2013 Overview. Reception and Legacy. Influence. U.S. President Barack Obama presenting Angelou with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, 2011. When I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings was published in 1969, Angelou was hailed as a new kind of memoirist, one of the first African American women who were able to publicly discuss their personal lives. According to scholar Hilton ALS, up to that point, black female writers were marginalized to the point that they were unable to present themselves as central characters in the literature they wrote. 41 Linguist John McWhorter agreed, seeing Angelou's works, which he called tracts, as apologetic writing. He placed Angelou in the tradition of African American literature as a defense of black culture, which he called a literary manifestation of the imperative that reigned in the black scholarship of the period. 144 Writer Julian Mayfield, who called Caged Bird a work of art that eludes description, 41 argued that Angelou's autobiographies set a precedent for not only other black women writers, but also African American autobiography as a whole. ALS said that Caged Bird marked one of the first times that a black autobiographer could, as he put it, write about blackness from the inside, without apology or defense. 41 Through the writing of her autobiography, Angelou became recognized and highly respected as a spokesperson for blacks and women. 145 It made her without a doubt America's most visible black woman autobiographer, 145 and a major autobiographical voice of the time. 146 As writer Gary Young said, probably more than almost any other writer alive, Angelou's life literally is her work. 80. ALS said that Caged Bird helped increase black feminist writings in the 1970s, less through its originality than its resonance in the prevailing zeitgeist, 41, or the time in which it was written, at the end of the American Civil Rights Movement. ALS also claimed that Angelou's writings, more interested in self-revelation than in politics or feminism, have freed other female writers to open themselves up without shame to the eyes of the world. 41. Angelou critic Joanne M. Braxton stated that Caged Bird was perhaps the most aesthetically pleasing autobiography written by an African-American woman in its era. 145. Angelou's poetry has influenced the modern hip-hop music community, including artists such as Kanye West, Common, Tupac Shakur, and Nicki Minaj. 147. Critical reception. Reviewer L.C.B. Washington called Angelou the Black Woman's Poet Laureate. 148. Sales of the paperback version of her books and poetry rose by 300 to 600% the week after Angelou's recitation. Random House, which published the poem later that year, had to reprint 400,000 copies of all her books to keep up with the demand. They sold more of her books in January 1993 than they did in all of 1992, accounting for a 1,200% increase. 149. Angelou famously said, in response to criticism regarding using the details of her life in her work, "I agree with Balzac and 19th century writers, black and white, who say, I write for money." 80. Young, speaking after the publication of Angelou's third book of essays, Letter to My Daughter, 2008, has said, "For the last couple of decades she has merged her various talents into a kind of performance art, issuing a message of personal and social uplift by blending poetry, song, and conversation." 15. Angelou's books, especially I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, have been criticized by many parents, causing their removal from school curricula and library shelves. According to the National Coalition Against Censorship, some parents and some schools have objected to Caged Bird's depictions of lesbianism, premarital cohabitation, pornography, and violence. 150. Some have been critical of the book's sexually explicit scenes, use of language, and irreverent depictions of religion. 151. Caged Bird appeared third on the American Library Association, ALA, list of the 100 most frequently challenged books of 1990 to 2006 on the ALA's 2000 to 2009 list. 152. 153. Awards and honors. Main article, list of awards and honors received by Maya Angelou. Angelou was honored by universities, literary organizations, government agencies, and special interest groups. Her honors included a Pulitzer Prize nomination for her book of poetry, Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water 4 I Die. 143. A Tony Award nomination for her role in the 1973 play Look Away, and 3 Grammys for her spoken word albums. 154. 155. She served on 2 presidential committees. 156. 157. And was awarded the Spingarn Medal in 1994. 158. The National Medal of Arts in 2000. 159. And the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2011. 160. Angelou was awarded more than 50 honorary degrees. 3. In 2021, the United States Mint announced that Angelou would be among the first women depicted on the reverse of the quarter as a part of the American Women Quarters series. 161. 162. The coins were released in January 2022. She is the first black woman to be depicted on a quarter. 163. Uses in education. Angelou's autobiographies have been used in narrative and multicultural approaches in teacher education. Jocelyn A. Glazier, a professor at George Washington University, has trained teachers how to talk about race in their classrooms with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and Gather Together in My Name. According to Glazier, Angelou's use of understatement, self-mockery, humor, and irony have left readers of Angelou's autobiographies unsure of what she left out and how they should respond to the events she described. Angelou's depictions of her experiences of racism have forced white readers to either explore their feelings about race and their own privileged status, or to avoid the discussion as a means of keeping their privilege. Glazier found that critics have focused on the way Angelou fits within the genre of African American autobiography and on her literary techniques, but readers have tended to react to her storytelling with surprise, particularly when they enter the text with certain expectations about the genre of autobiography. 164. Educator Daniel Challoner, in his 1997 book Stories of Resilience in Childhood, analyzed the events in Caged Bird to illustrate resiliency in children. He argued that Angelou's book has provided a useful framework for exploring the obstacles many children like Maya have faced and how their communities have helped them succeed. 165. Psychologist Chris Boyatzis has reported using Caged Bird to supplement scientific theory and research in the instruction of child development topics such as the development of self-concept and self-esteem, ego resilience, industry versus inferiority, effects of abuse, parenting styles, sibling and friendship relations, gender issues, cognitive development, puberty, and identity formation in adolescence. He found Caged Bird a highly effective tool for providing real-life examples of these psychological concepts. 166. Poetry. Main article, Poetry of Maya Angelou. Angelou with Tom Feelings, who illustrated Now Sheba Sings the Song, her 1987 book of poetry. Angelou is best known for her 7 autobiographies, but she was also a prolific and successful poet. She was called the Black Woman's Poet Laureate, and her poems have been called the anthems of African Americans. 148. Angelou studied and began writing poetry at a young age, and used poetry and other great literature to cope with her rape as a young girl, as described in Caged Bird. 19. According to scholar Yasmin Widegout, literature also affected Angelou's sensibilities as the poet and writer she became, especially the liberating discourse that would evolve in her own poetic canon. 167. Many critics consider Angelou's autobiographies more important than her poetry. 168. Although all her books have been bestsellers, her poetry has not been perceived to be as serious as her prose and has been understudied. 5. Her poems were more interesting when she recited and performed them, and many critics emphasized the public aspect of her poetry. 169. Angelou's lack of critical acclaim has been attributed to both the public nature of many of her poems and to Angelou's popular success, and to critics' preferences for poetry as a written form rather than a verbal, performed one. 170. Sophia Burr has countered Angelou's critics by condemning them for not taking into account Angelou's larger purposes in her writing, to be representative rather than individual, authoritative rather than confessional. 171. In the view of Harold Bloom, professor of literature, Yale University and New York University, and literary critic, her poetry has a large public, but very little critical esteem. It is, in every sense, popular poetry, and makes no formal or cognitive demands upon the reader. Of Angelou's sincerity, goodwill towards all, and personal vitality, there can be no doubt. She is professionally an inspirational writer, of the self-help variety, which perhaps places her beyond criticism. Angelou seems best at ballads, the most traditional kind of popular poetry. The function of such work is necessarily social rather than aesthetic, particularly in an era totally dominated by visual media. One has to be grateful for the Benny Goodnighty humor and wholeheartedness of Angelou's project, even if her autobiographical prose necessarily centers her achievement. 172. Style and genre in autobiographies. Main article, Themes in Maya Angelou's autobiographies. Angelou's use of fiction writing techniques such as dialogue, characterization, and development of theme, setting, plot, and language has often resulted in the placement of her books into the genre of autobiographical fiction. 173. Angelou made a deliberate attempt in her books to challenge the common structure of the autobiography by critiquing, changing, and expanding the genre. 174 Scholar Mary Jane Lupton argues that all of Angelou's autobiographies conform to the genre's standard structure. They are written by a single author, they are chronological, and they contain elements of character, technique, and theme. 175 Angelou recognizes that there are fictional aspects to her books. Lupton agrees, stating that Angelou tended to diverge from the conventional notion of autobiography as truth. 176 which parallels the conventions of much of African American autobiography written during the abolitionist period of U.S. history, when, as both Lupton and African American scholar Crispin Sardwell put it, the truth was censored out of the need for self-protection. 177 Scholar Lyman B. Hagen places Angelou in the long tradition of African American autobiography but claims that Angelou created a unique interpretation of the autobiographical form. 178. Angelou at York College in February 2013. According to African American literature scholar Pierre A. Walker, the challenge for much of the history of African American literature was that its authors have had to confirm its status as literature before they could accomplish their political goals, which was why Angelou's editor Robert Loomis was able to dare her into writing Caged Bird by challenging her to write an autobiography that could be considered high art. 179 Angelou acknowledged that she followed the slave narrative tradition of speaking in the first person singular, talking about the first person plural, always saying I meaning we. 156 Scholar John McWhorter calls Angelou's books tracts 144 that defend African American culture and fight negative stereotypes. According to McWhorter, Angelou structured her books, which to him seemed to be written more for children than for adults, to support her defense of black culture. McWhorter sees Angelou as she depicts herself in her autobiographies as a kind of stand-in figure for the black American in troubled times. 144 McWhorter views Angelou's works as dated but recognizes that she has helped to pave the way for contemporary black writers who are able to enjoy the luxury of being merely individuals, no longer representatives of the race, only themselves. 180 Scholar Lindsay Bloom compares Angelou's works to the writings of Frederick Douglass, stating that both fulfilled the same purpose, to describe black culture and to interpret it for their wider, white audiences. 181. According to scholar Sandra O'Neill, Angelou's poetry can be placed within the African American oral tradition, and her prose follows classic technique in non-poetic Western forms. 182 O'Neill states that Angelou avoided using a monolithic black language, 183 and accomplished, through direct dialogue, what O'Neill calls a more expected ghetto expressiveness. 183 McWhorter finds both the language Angelou used in her autobiographies and the people she depicted unrealistic, resulting in a separation between her and her audience. As McWhorter states, I have never read autobiographical writing where I had such a hard time summoning a sense of how the subject talks, or a sense of who the subject really is. 184 McWhorter asserts, for example, that key figures in Angelou's books, like herself, her son Guy, and mother Vivian do not speak as one would expect, and that their speech is cleaned up for her readers. 185 Guy, for example, represents the young black male, while Vivian represents the idealized mother figure, and the stiff language they use, as well as the language in Angelou's text, is intended to prove that blacks can use standard English competently. 186. McWhorter recognizes that much of the reason for Angelou's style was the apologetic nature of her writing. 144 When Angelou wrote Caged Bird at the end of the 1960s, one of the necessary and accepted features of literature at the time was organic unity, and one of her goals was to create a book that satisfied that criterion. 179 The events in her books were episodic and crafted like a series of short stories, but their arrangements did not follow a strict chronology. Instead, they were placed to emphasize the themes of her books, which include racism, identity, family, and travel. English literature scholar Valerie Sayers has asserted that Angelou's poetry and prose are similar. They both rely on her direct voice, which alternates steady rhythms with syncopated patterns and uses similes and metaphors, example the caged bird. 187 According to Hagen, Angelou's works were influenced by both conventional literary and the oral traditions of the African American community. For example, she referenced more than 100 literary characters throughout her books and poetry. 188 In addition, she used the elements of blues music, including the act of testimony when speaking of one's life and struggles, ironic understatement, and the use of natural metaphors, rhythms, and intonations. 189 Angelou, instead of depending upon plot, used personal and historical events to shape her books.